I'm here with Dorota Stanczyk, aka Dorota Moon, who is a transformational artist, someone who I met in Berlin at the Tech Open Air, very fortunately, and that's a whole story in itself. But I'm really happy to have you on board as a, representing the kind of artist community, the artist point of view. And if we could start by you answering, what exactly does it mean to be a transformational artist?
Well, a lot of people ask for that. First of all, thank you so much for having me here, Alex. I really love the initiative and what you are creating in the world. It's really beautiful. I'm fully aligned with your vision. A transformational artist. I mean, transformational art, maybe. Let's start there. It's an art that can shift your consciousness, that can change your awareness, that can take you out of your own mind and put you in a frame of references when you start to question things. So I'm interested in combining art, technology, and consciousness to create transformational events and experiences that within 1 hour can bring you non-symbolic, persistent shift of consciousness.
Nice.
This is the research I'm working on. This is the specialist I'm working. There's a lots of people I work with and I gather in order to create this initiative. And I'm really, my dream is to a little bit revolutionize the art industry and really see and use art galleries as a place where people can transform, because art is supposed to be transformational.
Beautiful, agreed 100%. And we were just hanging out in London. You were talking to me about the vision for your new event, which was going to be in San Francisco, and it was going to be about all of this transformational art. And now that's on hold.
Everything is on hold.
So,
we are on hold. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'd like you to speak to that at some point. But the title or the concept for your talk or your interview with me is about reinventing oneself. So
yes,
could you expound on that a little bit?
Absolutely. And I think the best way to start it is that if we literally can't go out, we have to go in. There is no other way, right? And we are all I think I see it actually as absolutely amazing, beautiful opportunity for all of us to not only reinvent the entire planet, the entire system, create new paradigms of working, being, and living, but also to reinvent who we are. We live in a society where we are used to framing ourselves, editing our behavior, putting on a lots of masks that will fit to a certain specific circumstances. And these masks are like a walls that literally not only separate us from another human being and disable us to create a real profound connection, but also it disconnects us from who we truly are. Many of us created some sort of basket of adjectives that we agree to take on board and believe that this is who we are. And I think in this specific circumstances, we never been in such a situation. We never been in such a circumstances. So we don't know how we don't know ourselves, right? So all of those adjectives, all of those things we assumed about ourselves, they're not valuable anymore. They're not valid anymore, sorry. And that means that it gives us this amazing space to actually recreate who we would like to choose to be. And I see it as a really an amazing opportunity, and Jason Silva and Jay Shetty very often use Kool-Aid quote that says, "I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am what I think you think I am." Right? And what does it mean is that most of the time, what we think about ourselves is this combination of what we think other thinks of us. But now, we don't have a contact with other people. So we are forced to create our own idea of ourselves, to dig deep down and discover our golden shadows, discover our talents, discover our potential. And it's the scariest, honestly, it's the scariest thing ever. And actually, around 2 months ago, before it all started, I wrote a short article about what does it mean to be a creator. And if you don't mind, I would actually love to read it, because it's there is no better way I could express it verbally than just to read it. So to be a creator, creating who you are is the hardest and the scariest thing in the world. It is much easier to just follow whatever comes to us, whatever was chosen for us, whatever was given to us, whatever came our way. What am I supposed to do in my life? What am I made for? What am I here for? What is my destiny? We often ask ourselves. But what is destiny? The path that has been defined, shaped, directed, specified, but shaped by who and by what? Contract, agreements, bonds, commitment, promises, debts, or sometimes that we are not even aware of. It has been defined by decision and actions of ourselves and others to then create our path that we blindly follow without questioning or without realizing that one decision might be defining the course of our lifetime. Is this destiny? And what if we suddenly awake? If we will start to look around and by free choice, we will unbond, cut, end, resolve, let go of, and free ourselves from everything that was guiding our life. What's left? Space, void, silence, unknown, stillness. Nothing is pushing or pulling us anymore. We become free. And what's left is pure creation. The only place we can experience ourselves as creator. Becoming creator means to face the unknown. It means to face the void, the stillness, the silence, the space, and use it to create our own voice, our own sound, our own form, our own expression. And it can be the most confusing moment ever, because when we are so used to hearing different voices pushing or pulling us in different directions, that suddenly when those voices disappear and there is nothing but space, we panic. We don't know how to take over. It is much easier to be told what to do or to be shown where to go rather than to create it yourself. We don't know how to create. We wait for something to happen in order to act. But it is acting that will create something in our life. In this moment, when you are truly ready to create, it feels as if the world has abandoned us. It feels as if the world has stopped, because it is just standing still and waiting for us to do a move, giving us a very space to create. It's saying, it's up to you now. You are ready. You don't need me anymore to guide you. You can choose to create whatever you want. So go ahead, dive in your imagination. I won't tell you anymore who to be. I want you to tell me who you are so I can shape the whole reality according to that. Choose to create yourself as if nothing was pulling or pushing you in any direction anymore, from the place of a pure source. Become a creator of your life today. So I think this matches what is happening right now very nicely.
And
Yeah.
I would like to link that, the destiny part of it, not so much maybe the creation part, but the reinvention part, to what happened to you over the last 24 hours in London because of this. How did you look at yourself and how you were reacting? Would you like to share about that?
I had the most incredible experience of my life, and the scariest, of course. So let's start maybe that I was living in Asia for the last 3 years. And I moved out of Asia last year, and I started slowly transition to Europe. But I had no idea where to be. I had no idea where to create my base. I didn't feel any push or pull. I'm very good, very free spirit, and it's very easy for me to live anywhere. So I decided to come to London on the beginning of the year to just sort of test it, to test if this would be a right place for me to be. And I was staying with friends, and when this whole thing started to happen, I planned my trip to back to Poland to be with my family, and literally 2 days before my flight, the Poland closed the borders, and my parents called me and said, "Listen, I think it's better if you stay in London." My mom said to me, I was of course very confused, and I didn't want to abuse the generosity of my friends, but I took it as a sort of, okay, I'm staying in London. This is what is happening. And so I stayed in London. Suddenly it started to get more and more complicated. And my friend put themselves on very strict quarantine, so I couldn't stay with them anymore. And the only option that was left was a hotels. So I booked myself to the hotel, and literally the night when I arrived to the hotel, I got a phone call. Well, you have to check out because we are closing. The whole hotels are closing all over London. And could you please check out tonight? I'm like, no, I can't check out tonight. I have nowhere to go. I can check out tomorrow morning. And I literally took a bath, and I was like, okay, thank you, universe. This is clearly happening for me. This is clearly pushing me to take a decision and create something. So I'm choosing. I will take a place in London. I will stay in London. I will create my base here. Give me a space. Like make it possible. And so I book Airbnb for. Sorry.
In the bath.
In the bath, yes. So at midnight, I booked an Airbnb. I wasn't even sure if they would accept me for the next few days.
People might be taking notes, so if you want to ask the universe, it works if you do it in the bath. I'm not going to ruin the story, but
you can. It's about taking a decision. It's your decision. It's your creation right now. So whatever you're going to choose for yourself, you don't have to know how it's going to happen. You just have to know what is that you want to create. That's it. So by taking that decision and finally deciding on the place where I wanted to be, I opened this possibility for universe to actually give me that. And I booked the Airbnb. I wasn't sure if they would accept me. So in the morning, I went to the park for a walk. We still can go to the park in London, which is good. And I'm walking and I'm bumping into a friend. And who I just met really not long time ago through another friend who was helping me with the entire situation. And out of nowhere, I just have this idea, just ask her. And I'm asking her, do you know anyone who actually wants to rent a place? And she looks at me, she's like, I do. They wanted to sell the place, but the person withdrew, and their place is actually available. You can actually see it in 2 hours. So in 2 hours, I go there, I walk into the place, and I kid you not, it's not just an apartment. It's my dream apartment. It's like the place I would scout for and choose in, like like from all of the places possible. Like this was like Dorota written all over it. Yeah. And I got it. I got it not even 12 hours after this whole drama of the hotel happened. So my point is here that sometimes situation that you might perceive as negative actually can turn to something very, very positive. And if you allow yourself to take everything in your life as a gift, you open a whole different door of possibilities.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We'll see about getting a refund from the hotel.
Yeah, I did not get the refund, by the way. Not cool.
Get in the bath and ask for it, right? Okay.
I didn't. That was the problem, yes.
Yeah, moving on. What interesting or funny habits did you develop as a result of this whole situation?
So listen, this is funny because I didn't. I have my own habits that I do, and I just stick to them. Nothing really, this is easy for me. And I think it's easy for a lot of entrepreneurs and our location independent people. We are used to spending a lot of time with ourselves. We are used to spending a lot of time at home. We are used to having developed our routine and way of being. This is for me very normal, actually. Apart from the fact that I can't see people, it's not challenging because it's almost like we've been prepared for it because this is how we live. In order for me to create, I have to have this much of a time for myself, because that's the only way I can actually channel my ideas. It's the only way I can connect with myself. So I kept doing my meditations. I have a morning meditation, by the way, that I decided to record in collaboration with an amazing sound healer and make available for everyone for free, and it's gonna come out next week. This is a meditation that changed my life, that is built on multiple different methodologies that I developed, that I learned from amazing teachers and combined in order to create something that worked for me. It changed my life. It brought me so many miracles. It created a massive feeling of safety and home within myself, regardless of where I was being. It created a daily joy that I could plug into. It was miraculous. And I was asked this week by a few friends to record that meditation for them. And I thought to myself, maybe I will record it for everyone. So my daily meditation, no matter what happens, I have to do it. It changes my day completely. And then, work, projects, being with myself, preparing meal for myself, celebrating myself. That is what I try to do every day.
Nice. So what have you been investing in or spending, like money on? Is there anything new or interesting in that regard?
I think I've been spending, how we always have those lists to do. When we will have time, we will do it. Yeah. Okay. And I've been always having those lists, and they are always new ones. There are always new things that are appearing. But I committed to myself this time that I will get rid of that list once and for all. Okay. And so that really gave me a possibility to finish my book, finally, to finish my online course on conscious creativity, to invest in new projects and collaborate with new people, and really create a lot of space, cut entanglements with the project that were not bringing me anything anymore, choose the right investment of my energy, like really sit down and I really sit down with myself and ask myself imagine that you are working on 10 different projects, and there is let's say you have only 100% of your energy available. Well, if you work on 10 of them, that means you are giving to each of them 10%. It can't possibly succeed because it's not enough energy to each and every of this project. If we take that energy back and actually cut some entanglements with some project and invest that energy into something we really do care about, it can actually go very far. So I've been redesigning myself, redesigning my energetic investments, and really focusing on things that matter, because now we are forced to look at things that are important rather than urgent.
Nice.
So what is important to you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely from my point of view, putting on this event has been pretty intense. It's kind of cleared a lot of old to-dos. What I'm hearing from you is that you had a long to-do list of stuff that the typical to-do list problem of just things get added and then the to-do list keeps on getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
You did a purge.
And
You actually wiped it?
Yeah, completely wiped it.
Okay, nice. Did you back
and
it
see
up?
and see whatever wants to come through me,
Nice.
Because otherwise I'm not available for things to come.
Yeah. Okay.
It actually blocks your energy. Yeah.
So I have a question here. What role do you think that creativity plays on our well-being in this day and age?
Gigantic. I think creativity is a way of living. You can be, an artist, but you can simply be personally creative. That means doing things in a different way, reimagine things, recreating things, challenging everything, never limiting yourself. If you are creative, in order to be creative, you can't be afraid of rejection. You have to show yourself, you have to express yourself, you have to express your emotions. It's a whole way of being. Like when you look at kids, we are all born creatives, right? There is no kids in the world who are not creative, right? There are no kids in the world who are not expressive. And there are also no kids in the world who give a shit what other people think. Like, it doesn't exist. So we are born like that. And it's a beautiful way of being. And something happens along the way when we redraw, when we cut this expression, this creativity, this innovative mind, and we start to edit everything we are doing and edit how do we express ourselves. And so creativity for me, it's a really reconnecting with your inner child. It's to really looking at the world from that place of constant novelty, of curiosity, of self-discovery and self-expression, is cutting everything that you think you know about yourself and just experiencing yourself anew every single day.
And that leads nicely into the current climate. So we have time with ourselves and that space to be creative. What kind of views would you have on creativity in these times? Do you have protocol approaches?
Pardon me? Yeah.
Do you have like specific approaches, how people could sort of adapt to it?
Yeah. I would say think about this like that. Creativity, it's Mihai. This is a super tricky every time. Vincent Mihai emphasizes that we should actually not focus what is creativity, but where is creativity, right? And creativity is nowhere else but inside us. It comes from, it's creative out of everything we have ever experienced. The music we have heard, the people we have loved, the book we have read, everything we have ever learned, everything if we have ever seen. So think about this like you are carrying this gift of who you are. And it's very unique to you because there is no other person in this world who had the same experiences, who had seen the same things, who has heard the same things. So this is your sort of substance to create with, who you are, and it will be always unique to you. So how can you use everything that you have ever experienced in order to come up with something, in order to innovate, in order to create? Like my big question right now in whatever is happening again is how the ideal world would look like. If we could wipe everything and recreate everything from scratch, how would that look like for you? In the same way, how can your relationship look like? How it would look like in the ideal world? How would you look like in the ideal world? What would you create in the ideal world? If there was no limitation and all the possibilities were available, what would you choose? Would you choose yourself to be? Mm-hmm. And switching on that mentality and looking at everything as actually a place for innovation, this is how you activate your creativity. So you can be creative in your relationship. You can be creative in your way of parenting your kids. You can be creative in, coming up with $1 million idea. It doesn't matter. Just innovate and ask yourself constantly how I want the things to be and how can I create them this way.
And I'm guessing that the time to do that is now. since we have a lot of time on our hands, a lot of space?
Listen, it doesn't matter if it was 6 months ago or if it's now. It's always now.
Yeah.
It's actually always now. There is no, it's, you can keep pushing things forever and never get anywhere. It starts now. If you feel overwhelmed, you have to stop. If you feel exhausted, you have to take a rest. If you feel like you need to create something, well, sit down and create. It's always now.
And I encourage everyone, I encourage the audience to go back and write those exercises that you just gave us. Write them down and work through them now.
Yeah. and scientifically speaking, and this is for the geeky people, flow state, that is so linked to creativity. It's this state where we channel ideas, where intuition is activated, when things come through us, can't exist in any other moment than now. Actually, flow, what describes flow is this state of selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness that Stephen Kotler and Jamie will talk about in their book Stealing Fire. So these four sort of characteristics that describe flow, they emphasize that really to put yourself in that state, you have to be in the present moment, right? So what actually can you do to bring yourself back to the present moment? That's the question. Because when you are in present moment, magic happens. Trust me. The idea will come to you. But we are not used to being in the present moment. We are I see everyone creating digital conferences and jumping on dancing party and doing this and doing that. And you end up spending 9 hours or 10 hours on your computer, constantly being on the phone. Like, by the way, guys, I encourage you, check how much time you spend on your phone. Like, please do it, because sometimes it's really shocking.
We work for them now.
We do that because we are not used to being with ourselves. Like, being with ourselves is not enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we feed ourselves constantly with different information and we look for all those things to distract ourselves from being with ourselves. Try the amazing exercise when you can really plug into your intuition, creativity, innovation, is to try to spend 1 hour per day in a full silence. And silence means not absorbing any information. So no phone, no computer, no television, no book. No just time. Be. And the only thing you can do, that I encourage, is journaling.
Okay.
That's the only thing you can do. Nice. That is because sometimes you need to let things out and just spend 1 hour like that. It's gonna be so uncomfortable in the beginning. But once you break through it, things will start to come to you and you will fall in love with that space. And when you fall in love with being with yourself, there is nothing that can touch you anymore.
The world is yours. So
absolutely.
Can you tell me, okay, so you said that you're working on a creative consciousness, conscious creativity project. What is I'd like you to share about that, and I'd also like you to share about what are your creativity protocols and activities now. Are you creating art at the moment? Are you being an art creator, or is it more around the educational stuff, or what's your current setup?
I do a lot of things. So the conscious creativity course. It's a course designed in micro learning. It has 22 videos that shows you and guide you specifically how to be creative, personally more creative. So this is what I'm hoping to launch in the next month, and that is definitely one of the babies. But as I mentioned already, the big vision is to create those exhibitions. And yes, I do I do work on that. I do invent things for that. I sit and design how it should look like, what technology can be involved. I'm speaking to people who create those technologies, and I'm sort of, my brain is plugged into that space all the time. But I'm also, pardon me?
You're curating and you're creating.
Yes, exactly. I'm combining and putting people together. But I'm also part of a few other projects, including Planetary Innovation Lab, which we are building to really create this new paradigms of working, living, being, and that involves much bigger group of people. So yeah, so it's different project, different things, but they're all sort of connected.
Nice.
And let's see how it goes.
The common thread between them is creativity, consciousness,
technology.
Technology. Nice.
Technology, yeah.
What would you say are the downsides to the creative life?
Well, that we are not very commercial. So I think for many creative people, I think the biggest struggle might be that we simply don't have that commercial, that business mind. We want to create, we want to innovate. And I found myself with this struggle actually where I had to take so much of a coaching to actually just develop that business side of me, that commercial. And I still, honestly, I do not enjoy doing that whatsoever. But I think it's so important to find a balance between both, especially nowadays, and in this specific time we are in. I think it's really artists have a tendency to get attached to their ideas. Mm-hmm. And what I teach is that it's not good to get attached to your idea, because how you actually train creativity is to learning how to come up with as many ideas as possible. Because like this, you are constantly in your in your creative mind, and you constantly create. So it's like muscling basically your brain. Mm-hmm. What happens in creative world is that people come up with one idea, they get attached to it, and they don't want to let go of it, they don't want to share it, and they just get fixed on that. That's not good, neither for your creative mind, neither for the business side. When you come up with hundreds of ideas, it's much more likely you will find the one that is actually good. If you come up with one, it just becomes too personal. And right now, I believe in collective consciousness. I believe that if there is such a powerful energy of distraction, there will be equally strong energy of construction available. It's all yin-yang. Mm-hmm. It's all harmony. It's a must. So you have a choice if you are going to plug into the distraction energy, or if you are going to plug into constructive energy. When we plug to that constructive energy, there is a lot of information that want to come through us that are not even ours. Ideas that are hanging there. And whoever is going to plug to that is going to have a download and create it, or have a download and pass it to someone else. I believe that we are all connected, and we are all connected to the higher consciousness. And it's so important, especially right now, to not perceive reality as mine or yours. It is important to understand that sometimes ideas that we are supposed to do will come through other people. And sometimes we will be vessels to the idea that we are supposed to pass on, that we are not even supposed to make. And I think looking like that everything connects, and it's not mine or yours, it's actually interconnected, and we are all sort of working and creating for this very same reasons. That's the answer to a lot of problems. Nice. And separation.
I wanted to expand on one point from that, what you just said, which is that whenever there is a great force of destruction, there will be an equally great force of construction, creativity coming. So right now we are in exactly that situation. What are you seeing as the creative response? What from the things which you've been following or coming across? What are some things you'd like to share with people about the inspirational sides or the opportunity side? Speaking of the commercial things as well. What are your thoughts there?
I think what we are seeing is that literally everyone goes digital, right? This is something that I remember that moment when we were supposed to create a 500 people event in Bali. And it didn't happen because of the coronavirus, and all of the conferences, were canceled. I was supposed to speak at. And there was this specific window of time where literally everyone was calling me, and I remember people coming to me and saying, let's do digital conferences. And whoever plugged into it actually now is having digital conferences. Like it was almost like it felt like an energy available for whoever was going to actually get it. And people, some of my friends were calling me like they woke up 4 a.m. and had a full downloads of information, how it was supposed to be created and all of that. It was very powerful. So I feel that the windows, many different windows, are open to really plug into them right now and to get those new ways of living, or new ways of creating, new ways of looking at things. Like, what can we create out of nothing, sort of speaking.
Digital wave.
It's a massive digital wave. And there is massive digital opportunity for sure. Now, am I, going to plug into that specifically? Myself, let's see. I think I'm half digital, half physical. I love physical, but it forces me to go more online. It forces me to record video of myself, which I haven't done yet, but I'm getting people calling me like, Dorota, just start recording video. I would love to, hear you. I would love to know your thoughts on that. And I've been not doing this. So something is pushing in order to actually show up and get out of your own way and just connect with people. And actually someone in my meeting yesterday raised a very good point that like that, on Zoom, it's almost more intimate than if I was speaking at the big conference. Because you see me in my home, you see my face, you see me from close. It almost becomes more intimate.
Interesting.
So it's interesting.
It's a matter of right now. What? Okay. So you were kind of alluding to this in what you just said. About being digital curious, etc. What advice would you give to yourself if you could, like 6 months ago?
I wouldn't change a thing, honestly. I would change absolutely nothing. What I would say to myself. Let me think about that.
In a child, it's in 6 months ago.
6 months ago. So many things happened.
In Bali.
I was in Bali. Yes, I was in Bali. And yes, going through my changing countries period.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's I don't have any advice. I honestly don't have any advice. Everything that happened was so perfect.
Yeah.
And now me looking backwards and connecting all the dots together, it was a real perfection. And I don't understand me wrong. I went through a really tough time because I was after separation and all of that and changing continents. But it all guided me in such a beautiful way to put me exactly where I am, that I wouldn't like to know anything different. Like, that was perfect for me in order to act in a way that got me here.
There you go. So, and what I'm hearing from your whole general mood and your thoughts and ideas is that this whole crisis is just not even a it's a blip on the radar. It's not really anything that's troubling you or shifting you. It's another kind of like annoying thing like the weather, maybe.
It's a choice. I do care about people's lives 100%. I'm worried that people are dying worldwide. I'm also acknowledging that China, first time in the 20 years, saw a blue sky, and as I said, there is always harmony. There is always, if there is a distraction, there will be construction. If there is a panic, there will be and fear, there will be equally powerful energy of love available. And so it's our choice. We can't change what is happening, but we can choose which energy we plug into. And I think nobody would benefit from me being afraid right now, or worrying, or panicking. I don't see a benefit in that. Do I care about other people's lives? 100%. Do I wish for this to stop so people can be healthy? 100%. But I'm not going to sit and worry and panic. I'm going to take the best I can from this situation and spread love and spread peace and spread joy, because if we can plug into that energy, not only it's going to rise our vibration, so most likely our immune system will be so strong that we actually will be protected, but also it will give us new possibilities, and to really recreate planet in a way in the new way that will be much better to what it was.
Nice. So that brings us back to the recreation, reinvention. I have 3 more questions. 2 of them are kind of related. So starting with the second to last one, have you been thinking of any quotes or ideas that have been playing on your mind lately?
Yeah, it's the only quote, which is one of my favorite quote, that is Sadhguru quote, which I mentioned on the beginning. In is the only way out.
In is the only way out. Interesting.
And I think that resonates really a lot with everything that is happening. I hope you mentioned other people quotes or my own quotes.
Anything that's been playing on your mind, like,
this has been playing on my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been playing on my mind.
Nice.
For sure.
Okay, so the last 2 combined questions. What has been your biggest learning or takeaway, merged with any parting words for our audience?
My biggest learning, so I have a message for the audience, and my biggest learning is to remember that when we are fully aligned with ourselves, everything that comes to us is the exactly right thing we are supposed to experience, and everything is a gift. Really, it's the things go wrong only when we are misaligned. When we are aligned, it's impossible, because whatever happens in our reality doesn't happen to us. It doesn't happen for us. It happens from us. So it's in like our reality is an extension of who we are. If this is aligned, my world will be aligned as well, and it will reflect. And the message I would like to give to the audience is, guys, as we are going digital, let's use it as an opportunity to get rid of our masks, to get rid of all that beliefs we have created about who we are, and let's just open up. Let's just show ourselves to the world. Let's just show our light, our gifts, our vulnerability. I think there is no more powerful way to connect to another human being than being vulnerable. And I think many times in social media, especially, we hide behind pretty images, the images and sort of profiles we have created of ourselves. Like, I want to see realness right now. This is such a beautiful moment to connect, to show who we truly are, to share our thoughts, to share our struggles, to share our weaknesses. My fear feels exactly like your fear. My shame feels exactly like your shame. My guilt feels exactly like your guilt. We are all experiencing the same basket of emotions. Let's just show up and really reconnect with another human in a way we maybe haven't even reconnected in the real life.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so thank you for sharing all of your thoughts and vulnerabilities and who you are and removing your mask. I can't believe that you don't do this, as a career thing, because you're an absolute natural. Thank you so much for your inspiration, and
thank you.
yeah, it's been amazing, and we will continue at a later date. I'd like to, keep going, but we're gonna have to wrap it up. I know you're a busy lady, like in the hustling, bustling city of London. Lots of things to do, places to go.
I mean, the places to go, no, but but it's a beautiful day. So I hope I will maybe manage to go to the park.
All right, darling. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Bye.
Thank you, Alex. Lovely to speak to you. Bye bye.